keeping a calibration record is very important for good manufacturing practice, GMP, especially in industries such as pharmaceutical and biopharmaceuticals, and also some food industries. And it is also has imperative roles in safety and environment, and especially for instrumentation. There are different systems that can be used, such as computerized maintenance management systems, CMMS, and it is important to keep the calibration so that the instrument is kept within the normal operating range, NOR, criticality and non-criticality and variation, to find out the cause and to solve the problem. And if there's any shock and damage, it is important to have the calibration done as well as those regular calibrations. It is important to have a standard operating procedure for calibration, just in case to inform everyone of what to do. So for everyone, it includes the coordinator and engineering department, and also the supervisors and also the user. So in some of the labs with more organized and more people, there might be a technician which is in charge of all the instrumentations. While some of the lab, they might has less people, so one of the person might be taking care of the calibration as well as other things such as maintenance and also testings. Okay, so for calibration, it is the documented comparison of the measurement device to be calibrated against a traceable reference device in compliance to pharmacopoeia and regulatory bodies. It is important to keep the calibration values accurate and reliable, so that it can reach the standards of GLP, good laboratory practice, and current good manufacturing practice. And also, importantly, FDA 21 CFR Part 11 compliances. So it can be validated, verified, and qualification and confirmation of legitimization. So it can keep that everything is in the very right condition for the very right measurements. So in a lot of companies, their systems, they are in electronic form. So we call it the computerized maintenance management system, and calibration is carried out regularly, either daily, monthly, weekly, yearly, or when there is any shock and damage. So other than the headings and write down the definition of calibration, and also introducing what of the system used electronically, the CMMS, it is also important to write down the instrument specification. So this is just a very broad one, so it doesn't specify which instrument. For some instrument, it might be important to write down what instrument is it, the model, the make, and what is the calibration, followed by the manufacturer instructions. So there are a few things to be written down. So it is part of the GMP requirement, and it is a need to adhere to the critical assessment. So the critical assessment is as per point 3.2, and everything is kept within the tolerance limit and the criticality is find out. And during calibration, it is important to find out the as found and as left to show that the thing is well calibrated and the accuracy is also defined. And it should be done regularly, every month and every year. Calibration is recorded and need to be trained before anyone perform SOP of calibration, so that to prevent the breakdown of the instrumentation, because a lot of the instrumentation can be really expensive. So it is important to write down who is the person responsible for the calibration, what step is taken out, and if what kind of situation, bad situation occurs, then what kind of ways that is methods is carried out to overcome the situation, so that to keep the value within criticality and normal operating range. So the errors value, they are also taken, and it is important to carry out calibration as written down here for the to remove any hazards that can be cumulative over time and might posing threats to the machine user and to the measured samples and to the data, and the error might be carried on and causes bad consequences to the user. So it is good to avoid this kind of thing. From the previous slide, there are different parts of the SOP for calibration is being shown. So this one is the calibration record, which is a document which might be in the electronic CMMS or just on a paper for the paperwork. So it is important to write down the company name, and it is part of the SOP, and it is a calibration record, and there are revision 1, 2, 3, and for if this is the one and only, then it will be 1, and if it is updated, it will be 2, and it is updated twice, it will be 3. And for example, and the date should be written down. So the calibration log should be written down, and it is also the calibration record or calibration log. So just write down the company name or institution name, and write down it is calibrated by who, calibrated on when, and next calibration on what time. It could be next month, when during next movement, after next movement, of after a year, after 3 months, after 6 months, and what equipment is being calibrated. Write down the name, write down the make, write down the model, write down how long it has been used, and as found, the data was what, as left, the data was what, and is it adjusted to the accuracy, the criticality of the data being maintained, and it is approved by who after the calibration is taken down, normally the supervisor or the technician or the head of technician, and when, and what kind of problem was found during the calibration, and if the problem is found, then what step is taken, and is the problem being solved. This is really important to be written down.